This monument marks where their journey ended in the Salt Lake Valley. On top of the monument are statues of 3 key LDS leaders. They had more than 100 wives among them. In fact, all 15 top Mormon leaders of the time were polygamists. If you want to read their sermons, the LDS Church has preserved them in a set of 26 volumes known as the Journal of Discourses.
The only men who become gods, even sons of God, are those who enter into polygamy. Now, if any of you will deny the plurality of wives and continue to do so, I promise that you will be damned. Brigham Young.
And Brigham Young was notorious for this. When they got to Salt Lake, they would go to the men and say, it's your right, it's your duty, you need to live it. They'd pressure the man to live polygamy. It was rampant in Salt Lake.
This doctrine of plural marriage is one of the most important doctrines ever revealed to man in any age of the world. Without it, we never could be exalted to associate with and become gods. Apostle Joseph F. Smith.
You had to have more than one wife to become a god, and nowhere in Mormonism or elsewhere is the doctrine that you become a god without more than one wife.
The principle of plurality of wives never will be done away with. You might as well deny Mormonism and turn away from it as to oppose the plurality of wives. Apostle Heber C. Kimball.
It was called the New and Everlasting Covenant. And what does everlasting mean? That it should be lived forever.
God the Father had a plurality of wives. Apostle Orson Pratt.
It was openly taught that God and Jesus both were polygamous, not just married, but polygamous.
I'm trying to recall, how exactly do you spell blasphemy again? According to Mormonism, in order to become God, you must have multiple wives. Now, of course, these days you don't have to do that because the doctrine has changed. How can they change such a radical doctrine? A doctrine that was given by God himself to Joseph Smith? Well, a living prophet can supersede the teachings of a dead prophet. Or should I say, dead prophets who had many, many, many wives.
If we go and look at the graves of the early church leaders, we can see that they were also being faithful to Joseph Smith's revelation. Here is the grave of Eliza R. Snow Smith, one of the plural wives of Joseph Smith.
I can prove that my ancestors were wives of Joseph Smith, and they have documented evidence from their journals that they were married to Joseph Smith.
This is where Brigham Young is buried near Temple Square with some of his wives.
I'm a great-great-granddaughter of Brigham Young, and Brigham Young had 50-some-odd wives. He had 56 children.
This is the tomb of John Taylor, the 3rd president of the LDS Church. He died in hiding because of his polygamy. He's buried here with his wives. This is the grave marker of Wilford Woodruff, the 4th president of the LDS Church and the one who issued the manifesto banning polygamy. Yet ironically, he's buried here with the wives of Wilford Woodruff listed out on his tombstone. Lorenzo Snow, the 5th LDS president, served a prison sentence for his polygamy. He's buried here with his wives, again in defiance of the manifesto. Buried here is Joseph F. Smith, who is the 6th president of the LDS Church, who is buried here with several of his wives, despite the fact that he served his entire presidency after the manifesto was issued.
It's funny that these people who put together this video could find that information and Glenn Beck couldn't. Available at wretched.tv.
All right, got it. Sweet. Drive-by church history.
All right, got it. All right, the big events of every century, 1 through 20. So you learn all the big names, the Luthers, the Augustines, or Augustines. When did the false teachers come in? You won't forget the big events. Seriously? Dude! 1! Hey! 1!